Topic 2. What we got?
So we're going to flesh out some trades for our respective teams. And the way this is going to work, one of us can propose a trade for our team, and the other two serves as the arbiter to decide if it's fair and if that trade actually goes through. So you'll get called out if you try to propose some bombastically one-sided trades or something. I have laid the groundwork, Carter, to come up with a couple trades for both your teams if you need some help.
Dang it, man.
Thank you. All right.
I got a couple really good ones from Michigan if you want me to kick it off. I'm like really curious to hear Greg's thoughts on these.
Yeah. I mean, why don't we just hear all of yours first, and then hopefully that gives Cart and I some time to come up with our own. But I'm very curious to hear yours.
All right, I'll start with my Michigan category. Danny Wolf and Roddy Gale shipped out to Waco for Jeremy Roach.
No.
Giving up too much for Roach?
Yeah. I can't I'm losing a whole starter for a shooting guard that was less productive than Gale last year.
But for a better team, and he's been to the Final Four, he would be like that alpha scorer type.
Michigan's missing quality starters right now. We can't lose more. I don't think that team gets better with Roach. It would still be Roach, Donaldson. You got to fix that if I'm giving up Wolf for no front court guy.
Yeah, multi-year guys, too, that you're getting rid of.
Yeah.
My thought process was giving up Wolf since you already have Vlad Golden, and that pairing might not be tenable. There's a chance you might not be able to play both of them together.
No, I mean, Gale, 2 years of Gale, 2 years of Wolf for 1 year of Roach when I'd still be starting Reuben Jones and Trey Donaldson and now need to start Sam Walters is an absolute no-go for me.
Did Roddy Gale and Roach average the same thing last year?
Roddy Gale was better, I think.
Really?
Production-wise, unless I'm totally wrong in my head.
I mean, you might be. I mean, Roddy Gale averaged 14, 5 and 3, 45 from the field, 28 from 3.
I don't think Roach had those numbers.
Yeah, and Roach was 14, 3 and 3, 47 from the field, 43 from 3. That's the only thing.
So he was a better shooter, worse rebounder. Everything else is pretty identical.
Pretty identical, yeah. Okay. That's kind of crazy.
I think Roach is a better player. If I could swap them individually with some small stuff on the margin, I would do that. But also, it's about year 2 for Michigan because they didn't land the superstar guard. So I would need a front court guy back.
Would you do that if it was them taking Vlad Golden instead?
No.
Would you do Vlad for Roach straight up?
Yes.
Most
definitely yes.
Would you do Vlad straight up for Ian Jackson? That was my favorite one that involved both of our teams.
I think, yeah. I think so.
I actually think I would take that trade too.
Yeah, I'll take that. Yeah.
You're giving up Ian for Vlad Golden?
That in all seriousness, that makes us both better, even if we don't really want to stomach it.
True. You still have RJ, so you just gotta take advantage of that. Jackson's probably one and done, so
you slide Drake Palin at the starting 3, and it gives you. I think Vlad would help maximize the chance of Carolina getting to a Final Four for RJ's last year, which is why I'd probably take it. And for Michigan, you get a one and done in Ian Jackson, and Dusty can be like, "Yeah, I put him in the league."
Yeah, yeah, I think it makes both teams significantly better. I would do that in a heartbeat.
This one I don't think you're gonna take because I might have underestimated how much you love Danny Wolf. I said Danny Wolf for this feels wrong even saying it out loud now. Danny Wolf for Marcus Burton.
Yeah, it's a no.
Because I said this. I know you love Danny Wolf, and I know the reports have been that he's looked really good and been one of the best players so far. But I still think there's a chance when you look at how he performed against power conference teams last year that he might not fully translate to being as productive as he was in the Ivies. And Burton gives you that go-to scorer in the backcourt, which maybe you could, and he's still get 3 years of them.
Okay, that one, I will give you some credit. That one is worth thinking about because if you're Michigan, I think you like Sam Walters enough in theory that you would rather have an upgrade at a point guard spot. Like a Burton, Gale, Reuben Jones, Sam Walters, Golden team is probably better than with Wolf at the 4 and no good point guard. But yeah, I'm being duped or suckered into the offseason reports that just they say Danny's the best player in the gym and has been since he stepped in. And I think in theory, again, so much of this is about year 2 for me. I don't expect Michigan to be great in year 1. I'm not trying to win in year 1. Burton has more years, so it would make you think about it, but like you really want to see what senior year Danny Wolf looks like.
It's fair.
The
Don't
most
hate that at
expendable
all.
guy for me by far is Vlad Golden. Like if I cook something up here, like I'm going to be shipping out Vlad Golden for a guard. Somehow.
Mr. 17 and 6. Put some respect on that.
Good
man's
player,
name.
very good player. 1 year of Vlad Golden doesn't get my juices flowing, Riley.
Can I? Are you gonna say something, Cart? You got one cooked up?
I'm trying to think of something with Vlad. I want to do a Michigan State trade.
I mean, the only Vlad one would be Vlad for Fears, and you're gonna make Fears untouchable. But
Oh dang!
Well,
How untouchable?
What if I gave you what about Vlad Akins, Holloman?
Vlad for Akins and Holloman?
Going to Akins doesn't do it for me. Like I don't, 1 year of Akins doesn't do it for me anymore. I want multiple years. So,
Okay.
And Holloman I don't think is an upgrade from Donaldson. I think they're the same guy. So yeah, to me it's like I want to trade Vlad Golden for a guard with multiple years, even if it's an unproven guy. Which for Michigan State would be like I could throw you Vlad and like Lorenzo Kaysen for Jeremy Fears, so you get the chip young guard, but you're too emotionally attached to Fears to ever do that.
Maybe.
I had one cooked up for Fears, but I once again I think I underestimated how much Carter loves Fears because I'm looking at what's the realistic like best center you could get for Jeremy Fears. I had Jeremy Fears for Big Z. Little upside for upside. Arkansas gets a true point guard that maybe can keep Boogie Fland and John L. Davis and like happy getting their shots, and you don't have to rely on DJ Wagner. Big Z is obviously a swing for the fences, but I think he's probably a clear upgrade from any other 5 that Michigan State has on its roster.
That's for goddamn sure. I would think about that. Honestly.
I think that's a fair trade. I think
that seems about fair. Do you have any other Michigan State ones cooked up?
Yeah, this one it's a little less flashy, but I kind of feel like you would do it, Carter. Jaden Akins and Carson Cooper for Pharrell Payne. Because I think A&M, they have enough bigs. Like all their bigs really do is crash the offensive glass anyway. And they have like 4 or 5 dudes who can just get you offensive boards that would make Payne more expendable. And I think if you put Jaden Akins on the wing for your Aggies, then you're not having to start one of CJ Wilcher or Zurich Phelps.
For my Aggies. Is there any way I can get someone better than Pharrell Payne for that combo?
For Akins and Cooper? I'm just trying to think like there's not that many teams that have like their bigs just do one specific thing, like rebound, like A&M, and have depth at that position.
Can I get a return policy if Pharrell Payne gets hurt?
Part of the risk you got to take.
I think I would take that trade.
You think A&M would take it?
No. I don't think so.
I think they consider it. I mean, Akins would be a clear upgrade on the wing over both Phelps and Wilcher. I think.
Would he?
Dude, Wilcher's really bad.
I don't think he'd be an upgrade over Phelps.
They both like. I just think with Wilcher, Phelps, and Wade Taylor, there you have 3 guards who just. I mean, I know Taylor makes them more. Well, Taylor makes them more than the other 2, but you have 3 guards whose shot selection is just brutal.
True. All right. I want to come up with another trade involving actually a team that we don't have, a team I just want to upgrade. Let's see here. I want to get a 4-man to Baylor for my Bears to play with Valdez and the gang. But I don't know. But that means they'd have to come up off one of the guards. Okay. Actually, in this case, I'm going all in on Valdez. I'm moving Jeremy Roach because he's a valuable piece. I want to trade Jeremy Roach. Ooh. Can I get Jeremy Roach for Doug McDaniel?
That's not a 4. I thought
I'm
you were trying.
I want Doug and Coleman. But you can but that trade won't work.
Yeah, I think Scott Drew says no very
Yeah,
quickly.
Scott Drew says no.
Yeah.
Wait. So you're saying? I think Scott Drew would say yes for Roach for Hawkins like easily, and I think Tank says yes to that too.
Straight up.
I
You
don't.
say no.
I don't. With all due respect to our beloved Coleman Hawkins, I don't. I think Jeremy Roach is brought in to like vet lead a Baylor backcourt, and like Scott Drew wants guards, good guards, not a Jalen Bridges replacement that's erratic.
Jalen Bridges replacing that's erratic is pretty fitting.
Like I think Coleman's very good, but I think Jeremy Roach is the more valuable player in Scott Drew's system for sure.
Do you want to hear my UNC trades?
I do. I'm also like in mental hell trying to cook some up right now, but continue, please.
All right, first one I'm doing for UNC is I'm calling up Mark Pope and offering him Seth Trimble for Amari Williams and seeing if I can get him to bite on another defensive-minded guard who doesn't really score. I don't know if he's taking it, but I'm at least trying it based on like the guards that Kentucky brought in this year.
I don't think he give Amari. He give you Brandon Garrison, maybe.
I would take that. I would take that trade. Another one I had was Ian Jackson. I mean, it's similar to Ian Jackson for Vlad Golden. Ian Jackson for Derek Queen.
Ooh.
I feel like that makes both teams better.
I don't.
Because
Probably.
that Queen Reese pairing might just be so clunky, especially if you have Deshaun Heron Smith.
Let's trade Reese.
I don't know if I would do Jackson for Reese. I think Reese is good, but I need like if I'm giving up Jackson, I either need Mr. 17 and 6 or I need someone who is gonna come with the hype of like a top 3 recruit from Montverde to bolster the program's reputation on the recruiting trail.
Okay, I guess I'll give you that. I'm trying to cook up in my head. My last one is somehow getting a stretch 4 to Kansas, but I don't know how to package this. Like who? Okay, actually, hear me out on this one.
I got a stretch 4. I got stretch 4s. What do we need?
I know you got stretch 4s, but what if we did some trade that gets Grant Nelson to Bama, and Bama gets just a bunch of something in return? That would work.
To Kansas?
Yeah. Like they get Rylan Griffin back. they
so what KJ Adams doesn't help Bama because they got Cliff. So like the front court's trapped at Kansas if they all come there. Right?
What about just give them some guards? Like they can get Zeke Mayo. Or they get Store. You use Store for Nelson.
I think that makes Kansas worse.
But they already but they already have Rylan Griffin. Aren't you a big Rylan Griffin guy?
I like Rylan Griffin, but I think there's a whole
I think
then.
So what would Kansas' starting lineup would be DeJuan Harris, Zeke Mayo, Rylan Griffin, Grant Nelson, Hunter, and KJ Adams off the bench.
Yeah.
That would be nasty. And I think Store would pretty clearly become, well, I mean, you could say Nelson's already Bama's second best player, so you're giving up one second best player for another second best player.
I'm gonna tweet this trade out to see how crazy it is and see how people just rip me apart.
Good teams. Okay, I have 2 Michigan Oregon ones that took me this entire time to think of. I'm really trying to get Vlad Golden out of here. Cart, you let me know on this one with Illinois. Vlad Golden to Illinois for Dre Gibbs-Lawhorn and Tom Avicic. I want future assets cashed in for a great starting center. Illinois now has Kasparis, Boswell, Merez, Rickhouse, Golden. Michigan is probably starting Dre Gibbs-Lawhorn at point.
I like that trade. I think both teams would do that.
It feels pretty low risk for Illinois because you're just giving up 2 lottery ticket types for Mr. 17 and 6. But the only concern is like, do they just want to hold on to their lottery tickets because Merez Johnson might be able to give you like 80% of what Vlad Golden is?
Yeah.
But I think it's a good trade. I think it's fair for both sides.
Okay, that's my first. My second one. I still don't know how this one's gonna work, but I want to send Vlad Golden, Sam Walters, and Trey Donaldson to UConn for Aiden Mahaney and Terrace Reed.
I'm coming home. I'm coming home.
I think
Tell
UConn
the
say
world
no.
I'm coming home.
You think UConn says yes?
I think UConn say no.
They say no to that.
I think.
So
Wait, you said they're getting Walters, Trey
here's the
Donaldson, and who
pitch.
else?
Vlad Golden. So here's the pitch. I think UConn's center spot stinks. I think Samson Johnson, if he's the starting center, is not a national title caliber guy. Vlad Golden is. And you would keep Samson back in his preferred backup role with this. So you have the shot blocker guy and the offensive guy. That would work. Walters he definitely doesn't start, I don't think, for UConn. But for losing Mahaney, you get another wing white shooter with 3 years of eligibility left. At some point, Sam Walters would be really, really good in a Dan Hurley offense. And then lastly, I think their point guard's the other weak spot. We can all sit here and say Hassan Diarra's fine. It's going to work out. They don't have anybody on the roster that averaged more than 2 assists a game last year. So, like, at minimum, Trey Donaldson would give you the SEC's leader in assist to turnover and a guy you feel comfortable like just running the offense to let all these other scorers score. Michigan gets the backcourt star they need at the expense of losing, I mean, on paper, 2 guys that were going to start and Sam Walters, who's a really big potential guy.
You're a really good trade machine.
So Michigan chops up Mahaney, Gale, Reuben Jones, Danny Wolf, Terrace Reed.
Would you enjoy that lineup?
Yeah, I need Aiden Mahaney and Mays, man.
Okay,
It's
that's
meant
all
to
you care.
be.
That's all you care about, really.
It's so meant to be. It's so meant to be. That's a fun exercise.
That was
I,
a fun.
I don't feel like you did enough Michigan State, Cart.
Well, it's really tough. It's like having like no draft capital worthy of anything. So it's like I can't really trade for much.
You got a lot of these young guys.
Yeah, all right, let me work one up really, really quickly here before we move on to the last topic.
While you're thinking, I'll give my last UNC one.
Do it.
I would propose Drake Powell and Jalen Washington to Arizona for Monteos Crivas and Carter Bryant.
Arizona says no.
Yeah, I think
I don't
so
know.
too.
I don't know if they do. Drake Powell's got all the buzz right now, and Crivas is still mainly just he's mainly just a potential guy as well. But I need Carter Bryant
I think
that
Carter
backed up.
Bryant's better than Drake Powell.
I seriously disagree with that one. I love Carter Bryant, but he's not Drake Powell.
Yeah, no, we saw the CP3 clips. Here. Never forget AJ Hogarth and DeMar DeRozan. Riley, I speak from experience here, brother. Don't let it do it to you. Okay. I feel like I don't want to move off fears because I'm soft. But I will be able to move off. Okay, I'm throwing
So stupid.
Kurtang and Xavier Booker and Carson Cooper. For Umar Bala.
Can you say the haul you're giving up again?
I'm giving up Book. I'm giving up Kurtang and Carson Cooper for Umar Bala.
I think Indiana says you can keep Carson Cooper, but yeah,
They have to take Carson Cooper or I don't want the trade.
I don't think the value's as far off as it might seem, but I think Indiana says no because they're trying to win now.
Can I get Malik Renew?
No, not for these young guys. Like Indiana wants to win. You gotta find a team that doesn't want to win right now to dump these guys on.
Damn it.
Yeah.
All right, I got nothing. Let's go to the last topic.
I'm cooking a few things. I'm also trying to get Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey from Rutgers, and like could Michigan give their entire team minus Reuben Jones for Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey. It
Maybe.
might. Here's my Michigan State one that I think is actually really good. I'm gonna get a state of Michigan guy back in the state of Michigan card. You're gonna give up Trey Holloman, Garrick Normand, and Sizemon Zapala for John Blackwell.
Who are the three? It's Norman.
The only two that matter are Normand and Holloman. Basically, Wisconsin gets a free flyer on Normand at the expense of swapping Blackwell for Holloman, who I think are like similar roles, but Blackwell's really good and Holloman's not.
I'd accept that.
Yeah, that would help you.
Yeah.
And I think Wisconsin rolls the dice on him.
Play Blackwell at the 5 too.
That's crazy. I'm also trying to get you Trey Townsend right now, but I can't figure that one out.
Kohler, Zapala, Cooper for Stephen Crow.
Yeah, I actually think Wisconsin takes that.
Yeah.
Because they want some future chips.
Yeah, and future white bigs.
I take it back. None of those guys have more than 2 years left. They don't take that. You gotta throw McCulloch in.
Okay.
You do it?
Wait, no. I'll throw in Jace Richardson.
Throw in Moneyball tickets and everybody's happy. Everybody accepts it.
All right.
That's a fun exercise. Anyone have any more before we stop this?
No, I think I'm all out.
Okay.